Welcome to Sun City Hilton Head's 20th anniversary celebration of life, growth, and prosperity. I'm Glen McCaskey, former Vice President of Public Relations here at Sun City. I'm delighted to share with you something of how the long-ago vision of Del E. Webb came to be embodied in this remarkable community in the low country of South Carolina. It is akin to Del Webb's previous active adult communities in Arizona, Nevada, California, and Texas, but it is uniquely Sun City Hilton Head, South Carolina. So step back in time with me to the 1990s for a brief journey, examining how this community came to life and how it grew to a size and beauty that nobody really could have imagined. We'll miss some things along the way, but hopefully we'll chronicle most of the major milestones. Even Del Webb, the man, would find it hard to believe it all began here with trees, 5,000 acres of trees. The Sun Cities out west don't have a lot of trees. It's almost entirely built in deserts, with an average rainfall of about 5 inches a year. South Carolina, by comparison, is a rainforest. Early in the last century, paper companies, including Union Camp, bought the land in this area to cultivate fast-growing pine trees. But about 2 decades ago, the value of the land had exceeded the value of the harvested pine trees, and the rest is well known. The Del Webb Company acquired this site in the early 1990s, planning for more than a third of its 5,000 plus acres to remain open space for wildlife and wetlands preserve. That included a 400-acre stand of mature cypress and hardwood forest along the freshwater New River Basin. A couple of years of planning and negotiating with local governments took place before work began on Del Webb's breakout Sun City on the East Coast. The magnitude of what was planned here was a challenge to most imaginations. So in 1995, the company prepared a video to indoctrinate both area residents and customers what was to take place in this pine forest. Here are some clips from that.
Hello, welcome to Del Webb's Sun City Hilton Head. For the next few minutes, you're going to be my guest on a trip that's going to take us back in time to the 1960s, coast to coast, then bring us back to the present for a first-hand glimpse of what Sun City Hilton Head is all about.
Del E. Webb, an extremely successful building contractor in Arizona, recognized what he believed was a growing need and a great opportunity. Americans were living longer and in increasing numbers looking for affordable options for retirement living in warm, sunny climates. Del Webb tailored a plan for an entire community specifically designed for people who were getting ready to retire from work, but not from life. His idea was to build quality housing designed to fit the adult lifestyle around an activity center. And in that center would be facilities and space for just about every recreation, hobby, and sport that adults 55 and older would enjoy. Del Webb named his first community Sun City and began to build it on the outskirts of Phoenix, Arizona. History was made. This phenomenal success put Del Webb on the cover of Time magazine and ultimately has attracted more than 85,000 people to make their homes in Sun City communities in Arizona, Nevada, and California.
Now there's a Sun City community underway right here in the Southeast, in South Carolina.
The focus of life at Sun City Hilton Head will be the town center. Community facilities gracefully set in a landscaped square, as you might see in many small towns around the South. Town center includes a fitness complex, indoor and outdoor pools and aerobic area, indoor and outdoor tennis, bocce courts, craft and art studios, a hobby center, multi-purpose meeting rooms, and ultimately a ballroom and a 350-seat performing arts theater. Town center also includes areas for social activities of all kinds. Walking, jogging, and biking trails will run throughout the community, and our that's right, 3 golf courses will almost make the whole community a park. As proud as we are of the design of our Sun Cities, it's the people, your new neighbors, we're most proud of. The U.S. Congress proclaimed Sun Cities to be the nation's volunteerism capital. Sun City Hilton Head will be a guard-gated community at the front gate, which eventually will be run by the residents.
Well, that about does it. I hope you've enjoyed our highlight tour of Sun City Hilton Head. The next thing, and the best thing, is to come see it all for yourself. So until we see you here in person, goodbye, and come see us soon.
Now that was a good video, but the thing that really sold most of those first homes was the fact that most of the buyers had visited at least one of the Sun Cities out in the deserts. Even the best video couldn't possibly do justice to what was going to happen here, and it really couldn't do justice to the existing Sun City. So hands-on experience was an important thing. So now we're going to look at a clip from the grand opening of the Sun City Hilton Head from June 8, 1995.
Hi, my name's Glen McCaskey. I'm Vice President of Public and Community Relations with Sun City Hilton Head in South Carolina. We have just completed our grand opening at Sun City Hilton Head. It was June 8. This is a very significant event for Del Webb because this is the first time a Del Webb Sun City has been built this far away from headquarters in Phoenix. We're 2,100 miles away from the nearest Sun City.
The City General Manager Dennis Wilkins anxiously awaits Thursday's grand opening.
It's almost like birthing a child. It's just been an absolutely wonderful experience. We've had great cooperation from people. We've had our problems with the rain that we had last fall, as most people are aware, and most people also live with that. But we've worked through that, and as you can see, it's just blossomed into a beautiful, beautiful community.
We've selected as our theme for this grand opening, building on tradition. And that phrase has many applications, and I'd like to share just 2 of those applications with you this morning. Building on traditions of Del Webb the man, and building on traditions of the South Carolina Lowcountry. First, building on traditions of Del Webb the man. You know, Mr. Webb once made the statement, and it's posted in our sales office, that concrete, steel, and lumber make the buildings, but people make the communities. 30 years after Mr. Webb founded the company, and many years after he had become a legendary success of applying concrete and steel and lumber to the building business, Mr. Webb still had an unfulfilled dream. That dream consisted of building a master plan community for active adults, or some 35 years ago, it was just simply called retirees. In 1960, the first Sun City was opened in Phoenix, Arizona, and today's grand opening marks the 8th Sun City community that has been open since Mr. Webb had that gleam in his eye. Mr. Webb could not have known that he was starting a tradition in 1960, but he not only started a tradition, he started an industry. I started out by giving you a quote by Mr. Webb that simply said, concrete, steel, and lumber make the buildings, but people make the community. The first part of that quote is demonstrated here by what you see today and the thousands of homes and millions of dollars of amenities yet to be built. But by this time next year, hundreds of homes will be occupied, the first of 3 golf courses will have opened, and the first phase of our recreation complex will be complete. In the last part of that quote, Mr. Webb mentions that people make the community, and that's true. The people in each of our communities make each community distinctly different. Each community takes on its own personality that is reflective of the community around it. We expect this community to be the same. It'll take on the personality and the traditions of the community around it. What is here, the rich traditions and culture, is what is attracting so many people to this region. Our goal is to introduce the newcomers to these rich traditions and weave Sun City Hilton Head into the fabric of the South Carolina Lowcountry.
A group called the Hallelujah Singers got Sun City's grand opening off to a soulful start. Corporate officials and Governor Beasley then took turns singing the praises of South Carolina's newest and most important retirement community.
Sun City Hilton Head is really a lighted match that's going to set the Lowcountry on fire with growth, economic development, prosperity.
The Sun City project won't be completed for more than 15 years, but the 5,600-acre site west of Hilton Head looks far different than it did just over a year ago. Tall pine trees have given way to the Del Webb Corporation's pristine vision of retirement heaven.
With all that hoopla of a grand opening, we were clearly on the way. And we even made a replica of the giant cake that Del Webb had made to celebrate the grand opening of the original Sun City back in Phoenix. And those original buyers were loved in a very special way. Just outside the East Gate is the Barrow Landing Schoolhouse, first built in the early 1800s by local families in this area. They took turns housing the one-room schoolhouse teacher. The old school was preserved by Del Webb as part of the development agreement with Beaufort County.
The bell rang once again at Beaufort County's Barrow Landing School as old students returned to the one-room building to celebrate its salvation from the ravages of time. Del Webb Corporation saved the 1840s structure, funding a complete renovation of the building located next to Sun City.
It's just kind of an interesting time for us that we can go back and bridge back 150 years, and yet right behind here we have a community that is just getting off the ground.
When the first 100 families settled into the newly opened Sun City Hilton Head, we figured they all must have attended one-room schoolhouses themselves. So they became the Barrow Landing Club. Many of those early residents gathered periodically here to rekindle their beginnings. In 1994, the then Del Webb Company began clearing to make way for hundreds of the first homes. The Del Webb development team transferred here from Arizona, and they were happy campers because the soil here had lots of sand and no rocks, as some of the desert sites had and as Texas had. But then something happened.
You got 18, 17, 16, and 15.
In 1994, the Lowcountry, an emphasis on low, was hit not with a single 100-year storm, but two of them, and within a month of each other. But to their amazement, it rained incessantly for that month of those two 100-year storms, and bulldozers sank in the mud. Any thought of construction appropriately washed away. But despite it all, and despite the time lost, roads came into being, houses were built, landscape was installed, and the word went out and the people came to Sun City Hilton Head.
I'm Dolores Manji from Hampton Village. In 1994, I was visiting my cousin who lived in Del Webb Palm Desert, California. After taking a tour of the community and listening to her raving about how wonderful Del Webb Palm Desert was, I went to the sales office to ask if there were Del Webb communities being built on the East Coast. They told me they were going to build in South Carolina and would send me a brochure, which they later did. When I got home to Connecticut, I discussed the idea of building a retirement home in Bluffton with my husband, which we could also use part-time as we were both still working. As neither of us had ever been to South Carolina before, we took a trip to Hilton Head in April to check out the area. We flew down again that Thanksgiving to take a close look at the brand new Sun City Hilton Head. Then, on opening day, November 28, 1994, at exactly 7 o'clock a.m., we were assigned a salesperson. We looked over the lots and model homes from a brochure. Before a lot could be available, each salesperson assigned had to put a number in a hat. Our salesperson was number 3, and luckily, no one picked the lot we wanted. My husband was an avid golfer and chose the lot behind the 7th green. We then decided on a model that was shown in the brochure and left our deposit. We were told that the home had to be built within 1 year. We told them not to rush as we had time. We were then given a tour to show us our actual lot. We were taken there in a Jeep as there were no paved roads, only dirt. Our salesman took us to where our street was going to be and said, "We can't drive down there as the street is underwater." It was a most exciting time. We drove down from Connecticut every chance we could. At that time, there was no I-95 exit to Bluffton. We had to get off at exit 28 and drive 33 miles to get to the Sun City Hilton Head entrance, which was then on Highway 170. The sales office was in a trailer, just inside the entrance. We took a picture of the digging of Lake Somerset, and with each successive trip, took more pictures of Sun City's growth. We closed on our new home on November 22, 1995. When Del Webb started to expand and began the excavation of 2 large lagoons, we decided to move behind one of them, which we did in July 2000. My husband, Rudy Kurowski, died in November 2003, and I moved down permanently in 2004. In 2009, I married George Manji, another Sun City resident. I have had no regrets. Sun City Hilton Head is truly a wonderful place to live.
People from around the country began settling into this community because it gave them the assurance of living an active and productive life with like-minded neighbors. This was unusual in the East at this time. Some of our people found jobs with Del Webb right here. Others worked outside our gates, but most began living out their dreams of a safe and secure, active lifestyle. Many offered their time and energies to a group around the Lowcountry, in schools, hospitals, and other civic and community projects. Del Webb himself was a champion of such volunteerism, particularly the Boys and Girls Clubs, and he surely would have been extremely proud of the track record that Sun City Hilton Head residents have in that regard. In the spring of 1996, early residents Jim and Katie Ryan started the Town Square Upbeats. That was a social club that met on Friday evenings, and it was the predecessor to what was to become an impressive listing of well over 100 current resident clubs and groups, because there's nothing else like it in all of South Carolina. In March 1995, construction began on the Okatee Creek Golf Clubhouse, and a $3.5 million contract for fiber optic cable service in Sun City was announced. A month later, the Sales Center opened to the public, and there was the groundbreaking of Town Square Recreation Campus. That spring, the Okatee Creek Golf Course itself opened to the public. A year later, the Town Square Campus and Okatee Creek, the first golf course, were completed. In the fall of 1996, dock construction began at Riverbend. By the end of the year, 13 clubs had been chartered and included 518 members. It was 1997 when the main entrance to the community at Highway 278 was established with its gatehouse. 2 years later, 1999, the Riverbend neighborhood on the Okatee River had its official grand opening. As the century turned and spring was coming, in March 2000, the Sun City Hilton Head Millennium Bridge opened, and a longtime Sun City Hilton Head resident recalls that occasion.
I'm Bob Rasmussen, a resident of Sun City since 1996. When Del Webb started making plans for Sun City Hilton Head, the state of South Carolina asked that those plans include a bridge over the planned extension of US 278 to IS 95. At that time, the 4-lane road from Hilton Head ended at SC 170. Since this bridge would be a part of the gateway to Hilton Head, the state offered to provide $1 million to make it more than just utilitarian. At that time, the plan was to develop the first part of Sun City on the south side of the future highway, and then develop the north side in Jasper County. The state specified that their financial contribution required that the bridge be built no later than the year 2000. As development progressed, Del Webb decided to continue development to the south of the original area rather than north of the now existing 278 link to IS-95. The utilities infrastructure was ready to continue in that direction, while development north of the roadway would require additional work. However, to meet the schedule dictated by the original development agreement to partially fund the bridge by the state, the bridge was constructed in 2000, hence the name the Millennium Bridge. No development existed in the area north of the road at that time, so a less than complimentary name was sometimes used, calling it the Bridge to Nowhere. Shortly thereafter, a temporary road was constructed to connect the bridge to the Riverbend neighborhood of Sun City. With the ongoing construction north of 278, the Millennium Bridge now serves its original purpose of linking all of Sun City into one community. Let's take a look at some clips of the formal opening ceremony in March of 2000.
A high school marching band provided entertainment as the retirement community dedicated a new bridge over Highway 278. This span allows cars, pedestrians, and bikers to travel to the Riverbend community.
And in the fall of that year, the Hidden Cypress Golf Course was up and running. Just a year later, the 6,250 square foot Woodworkers building was completed. That also was the year that the Pulte Group and Del Webb Corporation announced a merger, creating the nation's largest home builder. It was July 1st, 2001 when the Safety and Service Volunteer Organization was formed, and it was made up entirely of resident volunteers whose goal it was to protect this community. Their immediate task was to welcome and direct those coming into these gates. But residents were not the sole concern of this growing community. It slowly became a dog's world as well, with an estimate of 1,000 canines. To address this, the dog park on Red Dam Road opened in the spring of 2002. Walkers were happy the following year because in August of 2003, construction began on the Nature Trail, an amenity that would get more use than anyone could possibly have imagined. It opened for use in January 2005 and was touted as the $1 million trail between Sun City Boulevard and Colonel Thomas Hayward Road. Another Sun City resident recalls the history behind this extraordinary project.
I'm Ellen Steger, Sun City resident since April of 2005. In that same year, the Nature Trail between Colonel Thomas Hayward Road and Sun City Boulevard opened. The raised boardwalk winds through 107 acres of pristine wetlands, providing a tranquil 0.8 of a mile walkway through tall trees and over streams of water. The Nature Trail was funded by the Del Webb Corporation as part of their extensive amenities program for Sun City Hilton Head. Along with the donated expertise of Dr. Chris Marsh, a naturalist and executive director of the Low Country Institute and Land Trust, and his associate, Brian Conti, they mapped the approximate location of the meandering Nature Trail. Working closely with Sun City Bird Club, Dr. Marsh identified the flora and fauna in the area and designed a series of interpretive signs placed along the trail. The area around the trail is home to prancing deer, alligators, and a wide variety of bird life. Near the entrance on Colonel Thomas Hayward Road is the Swamp Forest Zone, with its stand of water tupelo trees and bald cypress trees. Deeper into the forest is a hardwood bottomland zone, with magnificent willow oaks towering above the forest canopy. Wooden benches are strategically placed every 250 feet for rest and observation, along with 3 covered rest areas. In the time since it first opened 10 years ago, scores of residents daily walk this popular venue as a place for healthful physical exercise or quiet contemplative serenity.
The next year, the boaters and RV owners were pleased to see their park open, off Route 170 on Sun City grounds. 2005 was a busy year in Sun City. In the spring, the Hidden Cypress Golf Club and its recreation center held its grand opening, and the sports facilities were moved from Town Square to the sports park on Red Dam Road. It was up and ready for use in December of 2006. Just a few months later, the Sun City website was launched. Fast forward another 2 or 3 years and we see the Amnesty Craft Center expanding. That was in the fall of 2008, right around the time that Sun City TV News aired its first program, delivering the who, what, where, and why to residents. On January 15, 2009, Magnolia Hall in Town Square was officially opened as a gathering place for large meetings, community events, and the performing arts. This multi-million-dollar facility with a 500-seat capacity opened to great fanfare and universal approval, as documented by a colorful Sun City television reporter.
With me today at the Magnolia Hall grand opening, I have a few of the members of the original Activities Building Committee. Some of them have some interesting stories to share with us. Carl, let's start with you. This is Carl Nussbaum.
It's been almost 5 years since we undertook to do this project. I represent the Sun City Community Theater, and I know that the rest of the group represents all different kinds of interests, but as a team we were able to pull together what you have an opportunity to see this afternoon.
Bob Hooper.
Hi, well, I would also like to add my thanks, and as the former board president, I must tell you that I think we really owe a deep gratitude of thanks to the present Pulte management for having fulfilled a commitment that their company had made earlier, especially in these tough economic times.
So here we are, in what is arguably the worst real estate market in living memory, standing in front of a multi-million-dollar building ready to celebrate the coming together of a vision. As president of the board of directors and also one of the management team at Pulte, I stand here with great pride. I'm proud of the building. As you will soon discover, it's a great building with some great features, and one soon come to be justifiably proud of also.
I'm here inside the great new spectacular Magnolia Hall on the grand opening day. Isn't it beautiful? Look at the plush seats, the lighting, the floor, the stage. The stage is phenomenal. And I'm here with Susan Simon. And Susan, what do you think of new Magnolia Hall?
I think it's absolutely incredible. It's beautiful. I can't wait till we get in here for our shows.
And you brought your friend with you today?
Elaine Berlin.
Elaine, tell us what you think of it.
I've been watching it being built ever since it broke ground, because I'm on the tennis courts every day, and I've been in awe as it goes. It's just gorgeous, and I thank Pulte for giving this lovely facility to us.
Joyce, what was your impression?
I thought it was absolutely magnificent, and I can't wait to work there. I can't wait to tap there and to help everybody out. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I thank everybody for this.
Here at Magnolia Hall at the grand opening, seeing dreams really do come true.
In the spring of 2012, shortly before the lake house with its fitness center, pools, ballroom and meeting rooms open. Pulte purchased an adjacent 150 acres of land to build an additional 409 homes for a projected total of 8,640 residences under the Sun City Hilton Head banner. About the same time, the Argent Lakes Golf Course opened and on the north side of Highway 278, expanding the Sun City golf courses to 3. In the spring of 2013, the kayakers were delighted when the kayak launch facility was installed at River Bend, and everyone was excited that same summer when the Sun City Farmers Market made its debut in the area near the pavilion. Additional improvements and conveniences continued to be added. In 2014, there were more parking spaces and a comfort station added to the nature trail, and the Woodworkers Building expansion was completed as well. In August, bleachers were added to the softball field and the Argent Gate on the north side was opened. With all the change over the past 2 decades, the basic concept of Sun City Hilton Head has stayed strong and on track. The earlier residents blend harmoniously with the newest, and both continue to enjoy the community's outstanding amenities and congenial lifestyle. By the end of 1995, Sun City had 109 homes with 200 residents and just 13 clubs. Today, as Sun City marks its 20th anniversary, it proudly boasts over 7,600 homes, 15,000 residents, and numerous clubs of all shapes and kinds and subjects, 6 swimming pools, 3 golf courses, a state-of-the-art performance and meeting center, and the status of being one of the premier active adult retirement communities on the entire East Coast. Grand as this community may be, it is, in the words of Del Webb, spoken decades ago, quote, "Buildings are made of wood, steel, and concrete, but it is the people who make the community," close quote. I'm Glen McCaskey. I hope you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane. And once again, happy 20th anniversary Sun City Hilton Head. Enjoy it all.